So we have a few classic lashes applied. I've showed you guys how to apply classics. Now we're going to get into hybrid lashes. Now, hybrid lashes are 50% classic and 50% of hybrid narrow fans. So there's a difference in the fans that you're going to create when you're doing hybrid. Let's just say that this is about 50%. I know it's not, but just for the sake of the video, you are going to want 50% of the lashes covered in classic lashes. And I actually like to place my classics first before I start to place my hybrid fans, because again, I want to make sure that it truly gives a very natural hybrid mix. All right, so we have our classic lashes. Now we're going to get into the difference of the fans that you need to create. So again, when you're doing hybrid, I would not suggest for you to use. All right, now again, when you're doing hybrid, I would not suggest for you to use a 0.3. Instead, if I'm doing a hybrid, I'm going to go for a 0.5, even a 0.7, just because the higher diameter really just helps me to get more of a narrow fan. And to explain that, let me show you all the difference. To show you guys the difference in the diameters and the different fans that we're making. So the top is going to be my 0.3. This is going to be my 0.5 diameter. So let's make a fan with the 0.3 diameter. And I'm going to grab the same amount for both fans. Now this would be your example of a wide fan. When you're doing hybrid sets, you never want a fan as wide as this. Again, going back to that ratio with the volume fans, this would probably be considered a 1:7. I'm not actually able to count how many hairs these are, but these are a lot of hairs. A wide fan, you do not want to make these when you're doing hybrid. Now, if we were doing a volume set, this would be perfect. So now let me show you guys how to make narrow fans. This is a method that I started doing and I absolutely cannot stop because it's just so easy. But I'm using these specific glue rings. You want to get glue rings that have the ridges, because this is kind of going to be your easy fanning method. I hate easy fanning lashes, but I love this easy fanning method that the glue rings have for you. All right, so we're going to take a 0.5 diameter. And so when you're doing hybrid fans, you're kind of going to grab less than you would with the volume. So if I was creating a volume set, I would grab about that much. But because, again, we're making a narrow fan, you want to grab less hairs. So probably even about that much is fine. Literally not too much, okay? Now, with this easy fanning method, all your hairs that you've picked up are uniform. You're going to dip it in that glue just a little bit, and you're going to sit it through the ridge and just kind of wiggle it through. Wiggle it through there. Just allow it to do its own thing. Do you guys see that? Now this one wants to be separated. That's okay. We're just going to pluck her off. This is a hybrid fan. This is how your fans should look when you're making hybrid sets. Very narrow, very thin. All right, now we can place it. All right, let me do it again just to show you all. I'm going to make a few hybrid fans. You could do the pinching method as well when you're trying to make narrow fans, but I really just like that glue ring method because the ridges are so narrow. The ridges are very narrow. It really helps to make it as narrow as possible. But let's say if you wanted to pinch it, I would only open and close my tweezer probably for about like less than a second. I'm not opening and closing my tweezer as much as I would with a volume fan. Dip that there. Perfect narrow fan. Okay, now another thing too, when you're making narrow fans, I actually kind of pick up just a little higher than I would a volume. So let's say if I'm making a volume, I'm gonna pick up kind of right in that middle spot here. But doing a narrow fan, I want my base to be slimmer. So I'm going to pick up a little higher. I'm not all the way up here as I would with the classic lash, but I'm not all the way kind of at that same spot that I would for a volume. I'm really just about right here. Perfect. And you see how you have a longer stem, a longer base? That's perfect what you want for a narrow fan, for a hybrid fan. Dip it in the glue, sit it through that ridge, and you can even just like let it go, do its own thing, pick it back up. And I kind of just like to mess with it a little bit. Perfect narrow fan. All right, so again, you don't want to grab too much. Just a couple hairs, pick it up a little higher for that longer base. We are going to dip it in the glue just a little bit and shimmy it through that ridge. Pick it up, pick it down, pick it up, pick it down. Now again, this isn't the most perfect way because it does come with some complications, but that's okay. You could even try to place this if you want, or just go again. And you guys, don't be afraid to throw away your fans. Like, this is why we as lash techs have so many lash trays, because not every fan that you try to place or pick up is going to work out for you. So if it's not working, y'all, just throw it away. My students, they really try to force a lash. Do not force a lash that don't want to be placed, okay? Okay. Perfect. Dip it in that glue. Sit it through the ridge. And do you guys see how it just forms that on its own? I'm not even doing much. Like, all I'm doing is just sitting it through there, and I'm letting my tweezer go, and it literally makes the fan for you. Like, I wish it could do this for volume fans, but it's okay. Right. And you can use different ridges too, you guys. Don't stick to just only one, because the glue eventually will start to get clogged in there, and then that messes with your fan. So try to use different glues. Try to use different ridges. All right, and this is a good example of how your hybrid fans should look. You have a mixture of classic and very narrow fans, and then you can even tell the difference between the volume fans that I did versus the hybrid fans, the narrow fans. So these are much wider. They're probably about 7D plus, and these are very thin. They're very narrow. They're probably about 4D and under.